She Who Awakens by Alina Chamberlain. Chapter: Ovarian Venous Insufficiency. Vascular valve integrity and the mechanics of decongestion. A pristine, functional circulatory network within the lesser pelvis is the ultimate physiological prerequisite for true female orgasmic capacity and radiant physical vitality. Pelvic Congestion Syndrome, PCS, primarily characterized by pelvic varicose veins, is a pervasive yet underdiagnosed vascular pathology that directly compromises this network. Typically identified during a transvaginal ultrasound or Doppler examination, this condition reveals profound structural transformations within the pelvic venous plexuses. In over 80% of clinical cases, the pathology targets the ovarian veins, causing severe dilation and pooling of blood around the ovaries. This structural failure spreads directly to the uterine venous plexus, located within the broad ligament of the uterus. By transforming the pelvis into a stagnant pool of deoxygenated blood, pelvic varicosities create a persistent physical barrier that dampens sensory nerve endings, induces chronic pain, and diminishes intimacy into an uncomfortable or painful experience. The anatomy of venous reflux. Why pelvic veins dilate? To comprehend the development of pelvic varicosities, one must analyze the unique mechanics of the venous return system. Unlike the arterial network, which relies on the immense pumping force of the heart to distribute oxygenated blood, the venous system relies on low-pressure gradients and a series of delicate, one-way intraluminal valves to return deoxygenated blood upward against gravity to the heart. When the structural integrity of the pelvic floor and its surrounding tissues declines, the physical walls of the ovarian and uterine veins begin to stretch and dilate. As the diameter of the vein broadens, the delicate leaflets of the venous valves are pulled apart, rendering them incompetent. Instead of snapping shut to prevent the backflow of blood, the valves remain perpetually open. This causes venous blood to travel in a destructive, bidirectional loop, surging upward and cascading backward into the pelvic cavity. This chronic venous reflux traps cellular toxins, carbon dioxide, and metabolic byproducts around the ovaries and the uterine walls. Deprived of proper detoxification, the surrounding reproductive tissues experience localized cellular suffocation, leading to dull, aching pelvic pain, heavy menstrual cycles, and a chronic inflammatory state that progressively degrades local tissue health. The catalysts of pelvic venous degradation. Beyond sexual dynamics, the development of pelvic congestion syndrome is driven by a combination of mechanical, hormonal, and lifestyle triggers. Improper physical loading, engaging in heavy, unassisted physical lifting, lifting children incorrectly, or executing high-intensity weight training with poor core mechanics generates severe descending waves of intra-abdominal pressure. This force acts directly on the thin walls of the pelvic veins, overstretching them over time. Gestation and postpartum strain. Pregnancy subjects the maternal vascular system to immense anatomical stress. For 9 months, the pelvic veins must accommodate a massive increase in total blood volume while enduring direct mechanical compression from the growing fetus and uterus. This is coupled with a continuous surge of progesterone, a hormone naturally designed to relax smooth muscle tissue to prevent uterine contractions, but which simultaneously softens and dilates the venous walls, leaving them vulnerable to permanent postpartum stretching. Somatic aging and hormonal shifting. As the body matures past the age of 25, the natural synthesis of structural collagen and elastin begins to decline. Venous walls naturally thin and lose their resilient snapback capacity, a process that is heavily accelerated by hormonal imbalances that impair local vascular repair. Intimate gymnastics as a vascular pump. Intimate gymnastics reverses the debilitating dynamics of pelvic congestion syndrome by utilizing the surrounding skeletal musculature to rebuild the vascular health of the pelvis from within. 1. Activating the muscular venous pump. By engaging in highly controlled, alternating contractions and conscious lengthenings of the pelvic floor muscles, you create an active, localized pump. This targeted muscular action physically compresses the expanded walls of the ovarian and uterine veins, forcing the stagnant pooled blood past the incompetent valves and directing it upward toward the central circulatory system. This mechanical clearing provides immediate relief from the heavy, dragging sensations characteristic of pelvic varicosities. 2. Utilizing diaphragmatic vacuum dynamics. Every pelvic floor contraction is meticulously synchronized with a deep, ascending diaphragmatic exhalation. As the respiratory diaphragm relaxes and shifts upward into the thoracic cavity, it generates a powerful internal vacuum within the abdominal cylinder. This vacuum effect physically lifts the internal organs and draws the pooled venous blood upward out of the lesser pelvis, dramatically unloading the overstretched ovarian veins. 3. restoring local immunity and microbiome balance, systematically clearing out toxic stagnant blood and replacing it with a rich supply of fresh, oxygenated arterial blood, completely revitalizes the pelvic tissues. This restored circulation normalizes the secretions of the vaginal mucosa, providing the necessary cellular resources to maintain a thriving, protective microbiome. With a balanced local pH and healthy microflora, local tissue immunity is fully restored, protecting the pelvis from opportunistic inflammation, stabilizing ovarian function, and unlocking the pristine neurovascular pathways necessary to achieve deep, full-body orgasmic health. Discover the secrets to nurturing your lifestyle and love style at Wish for Love. The electronic version of all chapters from the full book She Who Awakens by Alina Chamberlain can be found at wishforlove.org.